all day, and I'm going to do my best to move quickly and endeavor to give you something that helps me get to the point where I don't have to cry. This program is Why Do Girls Cry Too? I came in on the first time, I gave you a small portion of my testimony about why I cried, many reasons. This time, Miss Regina asked me to do a couple of things. She wanted me to read a small segment from my book that depicts why I cried, give you a small portion of my testimony, number 2, and the third thing, give you a little information to help you cope with abuse. And I will try to do all of that in not in the time that she gave me, but in a less amount of time. I want to move quickly because we've been here all day and I know you guys are probably a little tired. So I start with the book reading. I like to print them out because they're large and I can see them and don't have to strain in the book. But there was a young man approaching his wife who was standing on his left and his lover standing on his right. Tears were drenching down his face as he reached out and said, oh baby, please forgive me. His wife was upset because he had betrayed their vows, but felt that he recognized his mistake and had made the right decision by choosing their marriage. And therefore she decided to give him another chance to be the husband that he vowed to be. Come on now. She reached back out to embrace him and to accept his apology. But he pushed the gavel away. I'm not talking to you, move! Then he looked into the eyes of his lover. Baby, he said that once more. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for hurting you. Please forgive me. His wife was still on the ground, looking up at them both, feeling overwhelmingly shamed, totally worthless, and of no value whatsoever. Come on. That's just another one of the reasons why I cried. I was that woman, not the lover. I was the wife. I know that. I know it. We have circumstances and situations in our lives that cause us to cry. They pull us down. But in my situation, it didn't start at 19 years old when I'm standing there trying to tell this big 6'5" man, just love me. I was a virgin when you married me. I did all of the right things. Why don't you love me? Shut up! That was my response every time. So I stayed low. I stayed on the ground. When he brought his women right before me in my face, I just dealt with it. I suffered with it. How did I get to the point of stop crying? Why do we cry? Because we have to accept this pain and we don't know how to deal with it. How do we break the yokes of that bondage? How do we get free? Come on. This is my story that I give to you today. When abuse is all you know. Mine started from a young child. My father used to kick and punch my mother while I was yet in her womb. I was abused before I got here. After I arrived, he looked me in my face. You're the stupidest girl I've ever seen. I never knew I could have a daughter as dumb as you. He gave me those words just a few years ago. One of his last messages he left with me before he passed away. He said, I never knew I could have a daughter as dumb as you. Then he died. I was 40-some odd years old. But today, I'm here to give you this information on how you can become free. Just real talk. Let me see the hands of the young women and of the young girls that feel that they've been abused in some way. Let's see your hands. I feel so good. Because I know I'm in good company. I'm not alone.
Oh, yeah.
Let's clap ourselves up.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are survivors. We are still standing. Yes. As women, come on, we have been so abused. And I can go all day and all night and talk to you about how we've been kicked, stomped, raped, burned, drowned underwater. I can talk to you about how, I was just reading the other day, the countless women that have been buried alive. Buried alive by their husbands, their fathers, their brothers, and sometimes even their mother. And you tell me the psychological effect that that would have on a person's mind. Of course I'll have low self-esteem. Of course I can't raise my head. Of course I feel bad about myself. But what I've done for you today, because all of the things that happen to us, they do not define who we are.
Yes!
You are not what has happened to you. And what I would like to do today is give you a small blueprint, not of yourself, but of a more powerful tool. I'd like to give you a blueprint of the abuser. See, the word of God says, in all you're getting, get what? I need to understand this thing. Yes. Because knowledge is what? Power. Knowledge is power. Yes. And as Aranda said, when you know what you're working with. Come on. When you know what you're working with, you know what you're working with. Yes. And what I want to do is give you a tool that I find very resourceful to help me get beyond my tears. It's an acronym that I like to use. And I'm just skipping through because I know the time is short. It's an acronym that I like to use to help me have empathy and sympathy for my abusers. See, I didn't just get abused one time. As I said, my abuse started in the womb. I was like Linda, but on the real tip. Tried to be a good girl. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I went to church. I didn't curse. Whatever my mother said, do, yes ma'am. And it wasn't lip service. I did that. I waited till I got married. My husband didn't get nothing until he put the ring on the finger. And after he did that, that same day, the abuse started. He dropped me off at his mother's house and he went back home to his girlfriend. That's how it started. I never even got the opportunity to live with my husband. He was gone. I saw him maybe once a month. Payday time. He'd stop me. He may see me somewhere. Stop me. Hey, how you doing? I miss you. The car broke down. This happened. Give me some. He'd get his some and get my check, and he was gone until he got ready to come back. That's my story. But this acronym for the abuser, this helps me cope from day to day. The A stands for absence of love for self. An abuser does not love himself, therefore he or she cannot love you. That's right. So it's not personal. Go ahead, because you are being empowered today. You don't have to feel bad. Something is wrong with me. No! The abuser is sick. He's sick. So if he cannot love himself, my husband, for instance, something happened early in his childhood, working on a science fair, inadvertently burned the entire house down. His little sister was there. She died. His little brother was there, disfigured for life. To this day, Some 40 years later, he still hates himself. He still hasn't forgiven himself. Therefore, he could not give that love back to me. He turned the abuse on himself and everything he touches. It's not personal. I can look at him with loving, caring eyes, have sympathy, because I understand knowledge is power. And all you're getting, get an understanding. The next is B, brokenness. An abuser is broken. Their spirits are crushed. They can't see how to move past their past, how to get beyond their pain. And when you are in a situation like that, and you're with a person that's an abuser, as long as you stay with an abuser, understand the brokenness in them can only break that which is whole in you. Get this message. It's powerful. This is what helps me make it from day to day. The U, unresolved issues. When a person is stuck in abuse, it's because they have not dealt with their issues. Whether it be their past, people said things wrong, they were abandoned, my mother wasn't there, my father wasn't there, I'm ugly, I have low self-esteem. All of these issues are unresolved. Stand face to face. The Word of God said, Hezekiah, I believe it was, he turned his face to the wall. Turn and face that barrier that is in your life. You don't have to be held captive for that anymore. S, very powerful. Selfishness. Not selfishness and just gimme, 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 I want it all, but no. Everything that the abuser does is about them. You're not in the equation. They don't think about you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to medicate their own pain. Anything to make me feel good. Therefore, when they give you that, you can move forward. Understand, it's not about me. He's the sick one. She's the sick one. I can go forward. E, escape. When you have knowledge, you can empower yourself and you can exit that cycle of abuse. You can find the strength, the courage to stand in yourself and say, I won't have it. And when you walk away from that abuse, you begin the last letter. That's R, recovery.
Come on. Yes, yes, yes.
And when you find yourself in a place of recovery, that's taking your life back. That's when it gets sweet. That's when it gets good. That's when you feel strengthened. That's when you feel empowered. And I have the signal, and I have to stop. But I love you, ladies. Clap yourselves.